Hello fellow Disney Plus watcher, I'm excited to talk about Disney Plus with you today. Well, excited? Maybe that's a big word for this topic, but we're gonna talk about a topic right now that is kind of flowing under the radar a bit, but might have huge consequences for the future of Pixar, and I don't see many people talk about the big implications it might have. There are two reasons I thought now is the right time to discuss Pixar animated studios' future. The first reason is, well, Turning Red, a new movie Pixar is releasing on March 11th, which is the third Pixar movie that Disney executives decided to put onto streaming. That movie is coming out soon, so I hope it'll be great and captures the Pixar magic, of course. But the second reason we're talking about this is Ice Age: The Adventures of Buck Wild. Now, I can hear your gears turning. What does that have to do with anything? By the way, I would have watched that movie if I didn't live in Europe, so sorry for the few of you who are expecting a review or breakdown today or anything like that. I will watch this Ice Age flick on March 25th. I can't say if that movie's any good right now, but that's not my point. From the trailer, it looks really cheap compared to the previous Ice Age movies. Now again, what am I talking about here? Why am I worried about the future of Pixar when I see lower budget 20th century animation movies coming out that are specifically produced for Disney Plus? Well, I'll get into that. But before we do, I wanted to take a moment to thank everybody who supports this channel. Really, thanks for being here. I have a lot of fun in the comment section afterwards too. You know, the conversation just doesn't stop with the video, you know? We just hit 500 subscribers and that means a lot. So thanks, and you don't want to miss out if you're all nerdy about Disney Plus, so you know what you have to do if you're new. Disney Plus is probably not greenlighting full-length animated movies that have the cinematic quality like, I don't know, Toy Story or Encanto, to name two very random examples. Am I 100% sure about that? No, but it seems to be the trend. Because let's look at some of the Disney Plus originals that are animated projects. And don't worry, I'll get to the point very soon. We already discussed Buck Wild. That's not a movie made for cinemas, this is clearly a TV cartoon movie. Then we have something like, you know, Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Now, I really like that movie. TV special, wasn't really much longer than 1 hour, but it doesn't matter. The animation was very basic. You know, the backgrounds could as well be from a 2005 video game. It totally matched the cartoon style for me, so they got away with it. You can find my more elaborate thoughts on this movie in the description if you like. Some animated Disney Plus originals are up to standards in terms of animation, like Pixar Popcorn or Olaf Presents, but these are budget restrained in terms of locations and all that, and elements they use. Like Olaf Presents is taking place all in one frame. So my point is, computer animation is expensive, I get that, and we see that reflected in the kind of animated projects Disney Plus produces. One looks just very cheap, the other is, you know, plays around in one setting, one frame, you get the point. And again, just a little patience, I'll get to Pixar's Turning Red. Lucasfilm found a really great way to cut cost with this game engine technology called the Volume. It has interactive light and backgrounds, which is a huge cut on budget if you think about it. Visual effects and lighting is a big part of post-production. Marvel isn't using something like the Volume, but compared to the movies, their shows are relatively smaller in scale. If we look at Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which is a very on-the-ground political drama with the occasional hand-to-hand combat scene, and Hawkeye, which is on the getting home for Christmas scale. I know I'm only vaguely illustrating that, you know, Disney Plus makes sure to deliver pretty great quality, but if we zoom out, we can see where they manage their budgets. The concepts and sometimes animated projects aren't top-tier expensive caliber. Makes sense, but you know, take that as a reminder. There's only so much budget for Disney Plus projects, because a single movie can make its money back and go into profit when it's a theatrical run. A streaming service works totally different. You might as well have subscribers that pay monthly but totally forget to watch anything on the streaming platform, and you would still make profit. So the only goal of Disney Plus is to keep subscribers happy and gain new ones. That means having a variety of projects and managing budgets creatively and over all the different intellectual properties. That's important to them. Marvel gets some, Star Wars gets some, and this and that. You get the point. A streaming platform that is only in its first few years of existence is not really how can we make enough money, but how can we lose as little money as we can. At least that is how I interpret it. As far as I could tell and as far as I know, but honestly the return of investment data is not that accessible to us, but as far as I know, Disney Plus is still losing money as of yet. Now, taking all of this into account, Turning Red being the third Pixar movie dumped onto Disney Plus, also taking into account, by the way, that a lot of countries are opening up. Don't really need to get political, but you know, more theaters are opening right now worldwide, and movies like the Batman, which is probably gonna be amazing, so excited, are still on the calendar. Movies are releasing right now again, and Disney's still throwing these things onto Disney Plus free of extra charge. Now, I hear a lot of folks say that Disney dumping these Pixar movies on streaming must mean that they don't have confidence in Pixar anymore, and they feel like with these other movies like Black Widow and Raya and the Last Dragon being released on Disney Plus with Premier Access, which is that $30 extra charge, that they get special attention and that Pixar is the rejected and abandoned child. I wouldn't say that necessarily. I mean, Disney is all in on Disney Plus, so you could turn that sentiment around and say they have so much faith in the Pixar projects that they like to use those as a major draw to the streaming platform. So you could look at it differently. So that's not even my point. But long term, I think this is a problem. And let's not forget another panda in the room. I mean, elephant in the room. A lot of Pixar employees are not happy with this and they feel cheated. And ultimately, I think that is not good for the work ethos. Movies meant for theatrical runs are budgeted and contracted in that way, for that purpose. Sometimes people's pay depend on it. We all followed the Scarlett Johansson lawsuit, right? And Disney executives carelessly throwing it onto Disney Plus is not a good sign to them. And I think they're right. And here we see how much power Disney actually has over Pixar when it comes to distribution. The last word is still from Disney top down, Especially now that they have a direct platform to just upload files for the world to see. That's basically a streaming platform. They just upload it. But here's the argument I was building up to. What happens when Disney decides that all of Pixar's movies are gonna be Disney Plus exclusives? You know what? No, not even all of them per se. I still think Lightyear, which I'm personally incredibly hyped for, by the way, will release in cinemas. I still think that because that's an event movie, At least I think so. But Disney execs can make decisions like that, like all of these next movies going onto streaming. And here's the thing. In time, Disney's executives will look at the charts, will look at how all the budgets are divided between Marvel, Star Wars, Pixar, yada yada, and they'll probably see opportunities to cut on Pixar because of their expensive movies. Or maybe they'll just demand Pixar to make less movies and more TV specials and more TV shows, or maybe only sequels, to make sure the subscribers know the IP. It can go in many directions, but I can assure you, if this is a trend, Pixar's movies being dumped on streaming that is, expect a big change in time. Again, remember, going back to the argument, even though streaming is becoming a bigger deal than cinemas, arguably, a single movie can still make its money back in theaters, and in streaming there is never such an opportunity. So money-hungry Disney will try and find a way to cut costs, as long as that doesn't deteriorate from the satisfaction of subscribers. This is just a basic principle, Yes, we still have high standards. Book of Boba Fett this week looked like a cinematic experience. They are definitely throwing us treats, but they want to make us as happy as they can, if that still means they can make as much money as they can, In time, Disney will test that quality-quantity relationship and try and greenlight as much projects to keep us busy. If you look at the calendar for this year and coming years, we have a lot of bones that will be thrown at us. It seems to be that Disney looks at Pixar differently now, even though the world is opening up. After Soul and Luca, Turning Red is the third victim that isn't allowed to make its money back in theaters, but is just being a part of the catalog of streaming instantly. In time, this will be a problem, I think. Will we only get Pixar movies that look like Ice Age: The Adventures of Buck Wild? Well, animation quality and technology is also developing, right? So maybe it's gonna be cheaper and cheaper to produce gorgeous looking animated projects. Maybe that will catch up. I'm still holding out hope that Pixar's gonna be totally fine. But yeah, a lot of the employees at Pixar seem to be mad. Disney's not letting Pixar earn their money back in the theatrical run where it's intended to, and I think that could be a big problem. Pixar was always the cutting-edge leader of computer animation. I really think they need the cinemas to keep innovating. Otherwise, Disney execs will start to look at them as part of the Disney Plus budget pie, and things will probably go downhill from there. Not necessarily like in the quality of the stories, but I feel a little bit for Pixar, and I hope this doesn't become a trend. If Lightyear of all movies is gonna be straight to Disney Plus, then we have to crowdfund someone to go to and give every single one of the workers at Pixar a panda-sized hug, in a Turning Red costume or whatever. I don't know. That would be bad. that would be a disaster. But hey, I'm not a professional analyst. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy kind of keeping up with the news around Disney and entertainment. Maybe I missed something. Maybe I missed something important. Please let me know. I would love to hear from you, because I'm thinking about wrapping this up. Thank you so much for watching. What do you think? Is this the start of the end of a great Pixar era? Any factors that I didn't think about? Be sure to let me know in the comment section below. Did you like this video? Then there's a button to express that. Thank you so much for now. Have a wonderful day and see ya.